try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap in myself.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. Here we go again, a lovely Monday. Let's get it started. Today's Monday, July the 26th of 2021, day 207 of the year, and only 158 days left to go. Anyway, so hopefully you did have a fantastic weekend, did all kinds of fun things, at least things that you deemed fun, because that's always important. So we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse of Safety FM. Yes, that's what we do here. Come across that multiverse of things. And we are also hanging out with our friends and our colleagues at that other place, other radio. So there you go, Radio Big. Here we go. We're hanging out everywhere that we can because that's what we do. Anyway, so let's see. A lot of chaos, of course, as we always start off here on a lovely Monday. So let's get it started and start talking and vibing and getting the gig rolling because that's what we're here for. So let's talk about the trends that we saw over the weekend. So if you are a hashtagger, you'll know some of these because that's what we're going to start talking about. Hashtag I am vaxxed. Are you was trending on Saturday as Twitter users shared their reasons for getting COVID-19 vaccine. Many tweeted that they got the shot to protect family members and friends, while others stated that it felt that it was their duty to get the poke. So there you go. Another hashtag over the weekend was Olympics was trending over the weekend. Twitter lit up as the tweets about the 2020 games in 2021 as people cheered and blasted athletes for their performance. More on the Olympics later on. Another hashtag was hashtag sex rules for wives. Yeah, there you go. Was trending on Sunday. What started as a joke quickly turned into a lesson on many sexism. Many women use the trend to justify their wants and needs while telling followers to stay out of their bedroom and personal choices. Another one that was hitting the sequence, it was hashtag if men had it their way. Landed on Twitter's top 10 on Sunday. Tweets included man flu would be recognized as a series of illness. The controlled temperature setting of never be fiddled with. And then women said that they would take their own cars. The speed limit would be just a suggestion. And the whole house would be a pillow fort. So there you go. That was some stuff that was hitting the trends over the weekend. Another one was my relaxing retreat was trending yesterday. Tweets included reading a good book or possibly cursing a person with their entire bloodline, whichever. A warm bath, chilling with friends, cooking, and something that does not involve my kids. Wow, that's real uplifting, I would say. Not. So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff, of course, hitting the trends. So what do you got going on this week? Anything fun? Anything exciting? Anything that it should be mentioned inside of the box? If you can't, you can. It's cool. It'll be perfectly fine to do so. We can talk about those right away because that's always a fun time to do that kind of stuff. So let's start talking about the world of trending and the world of news and the world of whatever you want to talk about. So let's start getting that moving and grooving. And we are going in to go and hang out with our friends at Feature Story News because that's what they do. They talk about features, they talk about stories, and they talk about the news. Well, I mean, I guess that's why they're called Feature Story News. At least one would think, right?
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
And I'm Chris Jones. Violent nationwide protests have led to the sacking of Tunisia's Prime Minister. The Tunisian public has shown unrest over the country's government's handling of its economy, and a recent spike in COVID-19 cases has worsened the situation. President Kais Saied has now taken over from Hichem Mishishi and has suspended Parliament. Thunderstorms across London have left homes, roads, tube stations and hospitals shut, with flood warnings still in place. A month's worth of rain fell in just a few hours. A major incident's been declared by one hospital trust after the extreme weather affected 2 emergency departments in East London. Rachel Venables is at a flooded station in London.
In just 3 hours, the capital got hit with around a month's worth of rain, and across the capital, people raced to protect their homes. We know that cars broke down and were abandoned. Main roads were underwater in minutes. Even buses got stuck in the deluge. Now, London had already been hit by flash floods earlier this month after a month's worth of rain then as well fell in the space of a single day. And we know that days of extreme heat at the start of last week ended up giving way to much cooler temperature and unsettled, stormy weather in places yesterday.
After a whirlwind weekend in judo, swimming and now skateboarding, Japan is now tied with China in gold medals 6-6. The country is currently ranked second on the Olympics leaderboard. John Matthews reports from Tokyo.
Japan's 13-year-old skateboarding sensation Momiji Nishida has just become the first women's gold medalist in skateboarding and Japan's youngest medalist ever. This just after compatriot Yuto Horigome made history Sunday, winning the first ever gold at skateboarding's Olympic debut. Japan is sweeping golds in swimming and judo, with powerful weekend performances highlighted by dual golds from the Abe siblings. 21-year-old Uta and her older brother, 23-year-old Hifumi, nabbed the top spots in their respective categories. The gold rush is helping to sway a deeply skeptical public who fear the games could turn into a COVID super spreader event.
And South Africa's COVID-19 infection rate has declined by 20% in a single week, indicating that most regions have passed the peak of the country's third wave of infections. While some areas are not yet showing signs of decline, government has decided to relax lockdown regulations to an adjusted alert level 3. Mark Roughton has the details.
President Cyril Ramaphosa warns that some provinces have not yet reached their peak of the country's third wave of COVID-19 infections. Despite this, public gatherings of up to 50 people indoors and 100 outdoors are once again permitted. On-site and off-site alcohol sales resume on Monday, and restaurants may trade until 9 p.m. Curfew is now from 10 p.m. until 4 a.m, and interprovincial leisure travel is no longer restricted. Funerals are limited to 50 people and may not exceed 2 hours, while night vigils remain banned.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. The Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi is visiting Washington for talks with President Biden. Ahead of his arrival in the US capital, the Prime Minister indicated that he doesn't believe US combat troops are needed any longer in Iraq, but he is seeking assistance from the US in the form of ongoing military training and intelligence gathering. There are still around 2,500 US troops in Iraq, but unlike Afghanistan, the Biden administration has so far not set a deadline for their withdrawal.
I think there's going to be a great deal of what is the form of U.S. presence in Iraq going to take? Are we dealing with another wind down in terms of a complete wind down, or are we going to talk about something that's a little more phased?
Analyst Bob McMahon with the New York-based Council on Foreign Relations says the U.S. will be looking for guarantees from the Iraqi leader as well.
Really assurances that Iraq is, and Iraqi officials and Shia politicians are going to not allow themselves to be dominated by
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecue.
In the past, there's been a great deal of activity by many reports of Iranians in Iraq, and I think that's going to be probably assurance number one.
This is the latest in a series of meetings with Middle East leaders hosted by President Biden at the White House. Last week, King Abdullah of Jordan was his guest, and last month, President Ashraf Ghani of Afghanistan visited the Oval Office. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap our top stories, Tunisia's Prime Minister has been sacked following violent nationwide protests. Thunderstorms across London have left homes, roads, tube stations and hospitals shut, with flood warnings still in place. Japan is now tied with China in gold medals at the Olympics 6-6, and South Africa's COVID-19 infection rates have declined by 20% in a single week, allowing its government to relax lockdown regulations. That's the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more. We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMC and providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, if you believe in magic, and I know that you do. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on. So, I guess I should probably mention this. I should probably mention this. We are now really kind of doing some weird things on the Twitch side of the house. So if you want to come out over there and hang out, you'll see a lot of differences on that stream than what you'll see on this stream. And for some reason, some of the stuff that happens on that stream doesn't come across the whole stream just for the purpose of mentioning it. So if you really want to see something different, hey, I'm not discouraging you on wherever the hell you're hanging out, that be it LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. Safety FM Plus, the radio station. But if you really want to see the land of the weird, you can come hang out with us on Twitch. That's for sure. So anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. It is 17 minutes past the top of the hour. You are getting Rollin' and Bowlin' on this lovely Monday.
Duh.
So let's continue talking. A massive asteroid passed close to Earth yesterday. Did you know about this? NASA reported that the 2008 GO-20 asteroid, which is between 318 and 720 feet tall, or about the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza, hurled past the planet about 18,000 miles per hour. The asteroid came within 2.8 million miles of Earth, according to the Space Agency. For comparisons, the Earth-Moon is about 238,855 miles away, while Venus is 126.11 million miles away, and Mars is about 236.5 million miles away. In 1901, the same asteroid flew within 1 million miles. Yeah, 1 million miles from Earth. Hold on. Let's talk about this. So, how come people weren't talking about Armageddon or Deep Impact or any of that kind of stuff? Shouldn't that have been part of the conversation as they were hanging out and doing and all that kind? I mean, I'm just asking the question, of course, because that would have been the Iggy, if one may. So there you go. So did you hear about this, or you finding out about this with me as we're doing it in real time? I don't know. I was at the beach yesterday, so I had no clue what the hell was going on inside of the world. Anyways, the World Trade Center was evacuated Saturday after a bomb scare. A suspect was caught fleeing the scene after dropping multiple packages believed to contain explosive. The man is believed to be an emotionally disturbed person, multiple sources told the police. Officers have not commented on the suspected package as of yet. So there you go. Interesting things to hear about. Anyways, let's continue talking, as I have messed up my glasses entirely here. The CDC is urging clinics to phase out their use of emergency use authorization test kit COVID-19 and stock up on FDA-authorized alternatives in order to better differentiate between cases of COVID and the flu. According to the CDC, where there's about 646 flu-related deaths in 2020, in 2019, there were about 24,000 and 62,000 deaths related to the flu. Worth asking, though, if the EUA test kits can't distinguish between the two. The flu cases and the death were dramatically low last year. How many COVID cases and or deaths were actually just the flu? Just a question, something to ask, something to go over, something to encounter as we are talking and asking the question and all that kind of fun stuff. So take it easy. It's just a question. I'm just asking.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, the Dixie Fire continues to spread around California. Just in case, the state's largest fire has already consumed over 181,000 acres since it started back on July the 14th. Fire officials said that the blaze is about 20% contained detained, and 9 others are burning in various counties across the state. So a lot of stuff going on for sure, as we are talking in this lovely morning about the fires and a little bit about everything else going on. Anyways, Dr. Fauci believes there are two kinds of America, the unvaccinated and the vaccinated. Fauci made the comment while discussing the rising cases of the Delta variant, which now account for about 83% of COVID cases in the U.S. Of those who have contracted the variant and been hospitalized, about 99% are unvaccinated, according to the data of the UCLA School of Nursing. So far, about 57.1% believe that eligible participants, American age 12 or older, are considered fully vaccinated. So there you go. To help those who are choosing not to get vaccinated, Fauci suggested that those who are vaccinated return to wearing masks. What? Hold on. To help those who are choosing not to get vaccinated, Fauci suggests that those who are vaccinated return to mask wearing. I'm kind of confused on what it says there. So let's continue. Let's just make sure that I got this. Worth asking, what does punishing those who are vaccinated do? What incentive does that give those who are unvaccinated to get the shot? How are you punished? Are we looking at masks as being punished? I'm just asking the question. I'm not sure. Somebody needs to explain that one to me because I don't know. Also, I mean, this is according to the writer. Why do people feel like they should do what is the right thing for others? Then those people are making the conclusion, the conscious choice not to get the vaccine. I don't know. What happened to my body, my choice? I don't know. Just asking the question. I have to tell you, and we've talked about this before. We have show writers. We have people that we interact with, blah, blah, blah. This one's kind of a smart ass when it comes to stuff because I do the Ron Burgundy all the time with this stuff.
Duh.
So who knows what I'm going to say next.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
I love it when I'm in the middle of my drink and then all of a sudden it cuts out. Okay, so let's continue talking. Beachgoers were concerned when a Florida man washed ashore inside of a bubble-like vessel on Saturday morning. Despite some deputies were called on the scene, and they found that Seaver Reza Belachi inside of the strange floating contraption. Belachi told Fox 35 Orlando that he was attempting to run a floating bubble vessel from Florida to Bermuda to raise money for charity. The Coast Guard was called to the scene to take over the case and ensure that the vessel met all nautical safety standards. Belachi has been rescued on several occasions after setting off inside of other hydro bubbles. So apparently this is his thing. The guy has a thing going on. You know what I'm saying? He has a thing that he likes to do where he likes to be inside of a bubble. Well, I'm just glad that it's that kind of bubble and not kind of another bubble where you could be just bubbled and not know what the hell's going on inside of the world, which is kind of an easy thing to do.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, trying to be something entertaining is probably not the case. Anyways, tens of thousands of protesters gathered in France on Saturday to rally against a bill requiring virus passports and the mandating of COVID-19 vaccines for healthcare workers. Legislators debated over the bill the weekend after the lower house of parliament approved on Friday. The French government is hoping to speed up vaccinations to protect the most vulnerable and avoid any new lockdowns. So let's talk about that because that's kind of an interesting one for sure. As you are seeing here inside of the world of Francia, they're doing this where they are saying passports and mandated vaccines. Could you imagine, number one, something like that here? If you're in the U.S. of on how that would work? Seriously. I mean, because it becomes kind of a strange conversation because I know that at least in this glorious state that I'm in, they stated that they would not require people to have passports. So what do you think about this whole thing of potentially mandating people to wear masks? Or potentially mandating people to get vaccinated? Or potentially mandating people to have a vaccination passport? I mean, it's kind of weird if you start thinking about it anyways. Because on how some airlines, depending where you're going, require that you have something showing that you have tested negatively towards any COVID as of before you get onto their plane. So what do you think? A lot of interesting stuff to think about for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking. A bull is still on the loose in Long Island. We talked about this last week. The 1,500-pound beast, nicknamed Barney. Why Barney? Is he purple? Was spotted early last week running through Suffolk County neighborhoods. In the past week, authorities have tried everything that they could to capture the animal, including trying to entice him with a seductive cow named Norma Jean. Hey, Norma Jean, after the late Marilyn Monroe. I almost said Marilyn Manson, but even failed there. And we're still on the case. So here we go. Said John Delonero. One of them, many rescuers are out there looking for the bull. Barney broke out of the farm, crashing through the fence last Tuesday. Once caught, he will be rehomed at the animal sanctuary. So there you go. Anyways, I think we should start talking about this because it is the time where people are getting excited about the Olympics.
Duh.
So let's talk about medal counts right now. So we'll go through that. So if we go top to the bottom to the top, Olympic medal counts go like this. At number 3, United States with 4 gold, 2 silvers, and 4 bronze. Japan has 5 gold, 1 silver, and 0 bronze. And China in the number 1 spot with 6 gold, 1 silver, 4 bronze. The U.S. picked up, let's see, what does it say? Picked up 6 medals in the swimming pool. Swimmer Chase, we'll screw up his last name later, was the only one to take home the gold for the men 400-meter individual medley final. So there you go. Lee Kiefer, women's fencing, Will Shanner, men's shooting, and Anastasia, Taekwondo all took home gold medals just in case. Wardorley Kiefer became the first American champion in women's fencing individual event. At the Zolotic became the first American woman to win the Olympic gold in Taekwondo. I have to tell you, I watched the match yesterday. That was the Taekwondo one, and it was kind of an interesting one. It was kind of an interesting, an interesting match. But I watch a lot of MMA, so it's kind of hard to say. So I don't know. It's just kind of a weird. You should go back and watch the match. I guess. Because I watch MMA, it was a little bit confusing for me, and not confusing that I didn't understand it. It was just confusing on how it came about. And then the other portion is, it kind of reminded me a lot of the Karate Kid, if you know what I'm saying there. A lot of the Karate Kid was what it seemed to come up with, so I'm just giving the word there on what the hell was going on. Anyways, let's get John Smalls inside of here, because I think it's that time for him to talk about what the hell's going on, so let's do that real quick.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, July 26th, 2021. The uptrend in equities was confirmed on Friday when the broad market advanced roughly 1% to set a new all-time high. The move was driven by better than expected revenue and earnings, as well as upwardly revised guidance from a large number of companies reporting during the week. The key takeaway is that economic conditions remain strong despite mounting concerns for inflation. While most S&P companies are navigating the inflationary environment successfully, there are a few who are not. The risks for the market this week are twofold. On one hand, about 20% of the S&P 500 index is scheduled to report earnings, while on the other hand, we're waiting for the next policy decision from the FOMC. Along with that is a key read on inflation due Friday that could spook the market. The PCE price index has risen hotter than expected for 3 months and is accelerating. Another month of similar results can further cloud the outlook. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Going on and talking about what the hell is going on inside of the world, for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things inside of the world, because it's always interesting. Always interesting. I don't know where the hell I ended up going. Hold on, let's continue. Okay, a New Jersey teen raised over $12,000 for homeless veterans. Michael Ferreira, who one day hopes to serve as the U.S. military, dedicated his race in the Marine Corps marathon to the House of Warrior charity. With the help of social media, Ferreira raised $10,000 from his run, and the rest of the money came through various fundraising events at his school. With the funds, he was able to help House of Warriors open their first group home for the homeless and veterans in Colorado, where the nonprofit is based. As to why he decided to do this, here you go. Why? Okay, and it's for why Colorado and not his home state. For us, said our veterans have fought all over the 50 states and not just one. So I feel that it would be wrong for me to raise money for homeless veterans just because they happen to live in a different state. So he was saying, hey, I'm not doing it just for here because that's not the gig. I do it for everywhere because I think it's important stuff. So there you go. A lot of fun stuff going on. 31 minutes past the top of the hour. You and I are hanging to the left, to the right, whatever the hell we're doing this morning, doing that thing that we do. What happens on a Monday is no different than happens whatever any other day of the week, but people tend to make a big deal about what it is. So let's talk about that because I think that's going to be important right now. So let's get into it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go into our main story. What is the main story? Do you ever know? Because I never know. I'm always forgetting about it. You know what I'm saying? I've forgotten about it. I've forgotten about a lot of things. I forget about things that I do in my life all the time. Not really, but some people tend to think that I do. But it's easier if I say that I do. But think about this. Think about the times in life where things look different. I'd forgotten about it, and now I forgot about it again. There are things that have to be forgotten if you want to go on living. So listen to that one more time. I'd forgotten about it, and now I forget it again. And there are things that have to be forgotten if you want to go on living. Now think about this for a moment because there's so many different ways we can go about this as I say that. But listen, not everything inside of your world is probably perfect. Not everything inside of life is probably perfect in regards to whatever is happening. And sometimes in our career, things happen that we're not proud about. And it's not getting down and dirty and all that other weird stuff that people correlate to right away. But I'm talking about the whole standpoint of when we start talking about that sometimes life isn't perfect. And I'm talking about, hey, you might be a safety professional and someone could have died during your watch. Know what I'm saying? And sometimes people are not able, that are in charge, to see past this. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying that someone who dies on location, that's not important. It's huge. It's a life changer. It changes everything. And I'm not saying forget it like, hey, like it never happened. But sometimes some of those things you have to remember to be able to go on. And then sometimes there's things inside of your life and in your career that you have to forget to be able to continue to go on. Listen, not everything that's happened inside of the world is perfect. Not every morning as we're here together, everything works out fantastically. You know how many times I screw up on the board, but I said it and I forget it. You know, to quote an old school infomercial, do your best and forget the rest. You know, a little Beachbody program there. But those are the things. We tend to get so hung up from time to time on the things that we failed at that we can't see past it. We tend to forget sometimes on things that have occurred and we can't go past that motion because we can't see past the problem. You get locked in right there. I remember there was a great movie that I saw a long time ago where the guy said, how many fingers do I have up? And it's kind of an easy answer if you take a look at it. Now, the answer to that question, most people would say 4. And he turns around and he says, no, there's more, but you have to look past the problem. When you look past the problem, it blurs out. When you look past the problem, you're able to proceed forward. When you look past the problem, you're able to move on in the way that you want to. We get so hung up on this. That's not the end all. That does not bring everything to a conclusion. Here's the thing. As we are talking and as we are moving and grooving, what have you done in your career, or what has occurred in your career that you've forgotten? And can you now forget it again? Can you? And now that you've realized that you've forgotten and you've forgotten it again, now are you able to move on? If you have that item that you cannot forget, forget it. What? If you have that item that you can't forget, now forget it? Yes. Forget it. Do not allow this one thing that you have put so much pressure on yourself that's been holding you back for such a long period of time to still continue to hold you back. You're hearing me, right? You're understanding this whole thing. You have to be able to proceed on, even if you have to forget. It's kind of a weird, trivial thing to be thinking about on a Monday, especially 37 minutes past the top of the hour. But that's the thing. To be able to proceed, you have to do things out of the ordinary. But I tend to forget right now. What the hell do I know? Just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open. Don't speak with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Myself to the page, I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made. Truth in the glass in the mirror, yeah. Do it at me, old man, trying to pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see the ass, and he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad bitches here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. He done light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came.
Okay, there you go. That's Earth and Light It Up. Or the song's called Earth Light It Up, and that is Tilden Park. This song is readily available on Spotify and iTunes. If you want to light it up. Okay, so there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Bum, 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 bum. Yep, let's get back into it, get into some more things. So, anything weird and cool going on inside of your neck of the woods? Is it? Okay, we can talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. So, high carbon diet. Yeah, did you hear about this? This is not a joke. This is something that was making the sequences. Let's talk about it. According to a new study, men are worse for the environment than women, largely because of their fondness of meat and cars. So we talked about this briefly last week, and some people were not happy about it. The research by the Swedish company Ecoloop looked at a single man and women and considered their consumption of expenditures on goods such as food, household items, furnishing, holidays, and fuel for vehicles. It found that men on average were responsible for 16% of greenhouse gases than women, 16% more, it seems like. Despite that, the men spend only 2% more. Women were found to be Women were found to spend about low emitting products such as healthcare, furnishing, and clothing, while men spent 70% of their money on greenhouse gas incentive items. Yes, intensive, not insensitive, intensive items, including fuel for cars and meat. The lead researcher says that shows that the government should factor these genders in between the decision of making when shaping environmental policies, for example, by encouraging men to drive less. Okay, by encouraging them to eat more red meat. Think about it. That reminds me, oh, does anyone do anything then go through the drive-thru? Actually, if I find out that eat less meat and more vegetables, it's worse for the environment. The lead researcher was a woman. Hey, I'm just saying what it says there. Don't hold it against me.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world. So let's talk about this. Flying raccoons, cockatoos in Australia have not only mastered the complicated process involved in opening trash bins, they also have taught each other how to do it. That's why, according to the group of scientists, Richard Major of Sydney says that they've noticed a sulfur-crusted cockatoo opening in garbage bins. He says that he was impressed with its ingenuity, so he teamed up with the researchers to study of many cockatoos and learned this trick, which involves grasping the lid of their beak, prying it open, and then shuffling their feet far enough along the bin for the lids to actually fall backwards. Revealing the trash treasures inside in 2018, they found that the surveys of residents with the birds and the 3 Sydney suburbs had mastered the novel foraging technique. By 2019, birds were lifting bins at 44 suburbs, and now they say that they have shown the birds how they have learned the behavior from other cockatoos in the vicinity. They also found that not all cockatoos open the trash cans in the same way. Regional differences had emerged among the cockatoos who had distinct styles and approaches to opening the bins. These scientists say that it proves that animals can learn and share and develop subcultures. Major compares to the human dance, and in the way that people geographically close, this have similar dance styles to those who are in other countries far away. So you're telling me you can train a bird like a human to some extent is what you're saying. Okay. Believe me, when it comes to my dancing, a trash bin is very good in comparison. Birds can teach each other how to open garbage bins, yet somehow I can't teach my teenager how to drag the trash to the curb. Just something to think about there for just a rough moment.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, 46 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue talking. An Australian teenager is $20,000 richer after discovering a rare chip and posting it on TikTok. Doritos rewarded Rylu Stewart, a 13-year-old from Queensland, for her entrepreneurship after she happened upon the unique air-filled Dorito in a bag of chips. And putting it up for sale. Stewart's video is one-of-the-kind chip, which is completely bloated across 3 of its points. Very viral, gathering more than 4 million views. The TikTokers encourage her to put the Dorito chip up for sale on eBay. Riley initially listed it for 99 cents, and the post describing it as a puffy Dorito, one of a kind. It wasn't long until they started receiving bids up to $100,000. The listing eventually was taken down, but after the story attracted so much attention, Doritos came across to the rescue, offering $20,000. Talk about cashing in on her chips. There you go. You have to admit that she had one heck of a bargaining chip. Ha. It looks like the government isn't the only one planting weird chips these days. Oh, I'm going to hell for that one.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Yes, back to real safety talk, because we should do that. Anyways, hot weather hacks, because I live in the glorious state that I live in, and you're probably suffering through the summer. So let's talk about some hot weather hacks real quick. Build an air conditioner out of a bucket. Transition a 5-gallon bucket into a makeshift air conditioner by attaching a few PVC sections to the edge, filling it with ice water, and then pushing the air through a tiny fan through the top. And it will, if it doesn't hog up the whole window, well, there you go. You just had to kick the bucket, so there you go. If you need some other things to try to keep cool down during this very hot summer, here you go. Make alloy ice cubes. Yeah, this is not a joke. Be ready for what is an inevitable sunburn. Pick up a bottle of aloe vera gel and fill it with an ice cube tray, or put it inside of an ice cube tray. Remove as needed to cool off the beet red skin. It's funny because my usually treatment for sunburn also involves other ice cubes. Just something to think about. Freeze a sponge. Soak it and toss it into a Ziploc bag, and then leave it in the freezer. When you are melting from the heat, take it out and rest it on your forehead or on your wrist. You'll cool down without getting soaked, since the sponge will absorb the residual moisture as it warms up. Think about that for a moment. Just in case if you need some hacks there, wear some wet socks to bed. I don't know about this one. This one sounds terrible. For those who have unbearably hot nights, place a towel at the bottom of your bed, slip on a pair of socks that you soaked in cold ice water. That sounds like a good idea. Point a fan at your feet and be prepared to prolong chill every tingle of your spine. I'd rather be warm and damp than freezing with wet socks, that's for sure. Freeze your pillowcase and sheets. Yeah, here you go. To better fall asleep on those humid nights, stash a few pillowcases in a sealed bag inside of your freezer. Slip them onto your bed before you hit the hay, and you'll be surprised on how well it works to cool down. For an added thrill, try it with your boxers as well. That will actually bring you some chills and thrills, if you know exactly what I'm saying there.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Hold on. What is that guy saying back there? Huh? Oh.
I'm Jeff Fire.
Most people don't know that most of the billions of dollars that I've won in the last 42 years since becoming a trial lawyer didn't go to me. It went to the thousands of clients that hired me to be their warrior. That's my passion. That's what drives me. And nobody does it better because I was born for this.
Okay, to find out more about Feiger Law, you can go to you can call 1-800-A-WINNER or go to FeigerLaw.com. That's 1-800-A-WINNER or go to FeigerLaw.com. I think before we get you out of here this morning, we need to give you some motivation, so let's do that real quick for sure.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Tim. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "The most precious gift we can offer is our presence. When our mindfulness embraces those we love, they will bloom like flowers." Wow, what a beautiful quote. I've never heard this before, but I really do like it. A very vivid picture it paints in my mind. And I agree, too. Half the time, you win by just showing up. When someone invites a bunch of people to join them for something, it can be pretty powerful to be one of the very few who actually do show up. That's even more evident in the social media world. I've clicked the going button on an event and then completely forgot about it. I always feel bad about that. But then, sadly, I do it again the next time. If I've ever done that to you, I really am sorry. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
That's why I think I never hit I'm going to anything on any moment of any point in my life. I always say I'm not going, because then if I do go, then it's kind of a different thing. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit about some other things going on inside of the world as we are 52 minutes into the hour. So let's talk about something. Let's see. What is this? I don't know. Let's see. I don't like talking about the swamp. I get bored. So let's not talk about it. No winner for Friday night's Make a Million drawing. Tuesday's drawing will be for $153 million jackpot or $110 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball either. Wednesday's drawing will be for $186 million jackpot or $134.6 million cash payout. Let's talk about the top 5 movies at the box office. Here we go. At the number 5 spot, F9, The Fast Saga, 4.7. Space Jam, A New Legacy, $9.5 million. Black Widow, $11.6 million. At the number 3 spot, number 2, Snake Eyes, $13.3 million. And at the number 1 spot, according to the box office, was Old at $16.5 million. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of that neck of the woods as we are talking real quick. Let's continue. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date real quick. So let's see. Back in 2005, Shuttle Discovery launches from Cape Canaveral. Was the first shuttle mission since 2003 Columbia disaster. The mission took supplies into the International Space Center and tested a new safety procedures. That was back in 2005. So there you go. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Taylor Morrison turns 28. Monica Raymond turns 35. Kate Beckinsale's 48. Wow, I can't believe it. Chris Harrison turns 50. John Statham turns 54. Sandra Bullock turns 57. Kevin Spacey, 62. Roger Taylor, 72. Helen Mirren, 76. And Mick Jagger turns 78 today. Also today would have been Stanley Kubrick's birthday. He was born back in 1928 and passed away in 1999, shortly after. Was it the release or was it the completion of Eyes Wide Shut? We have to double check that because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Well, that was back then, so there you go. If you're looking for some reasons to party today, let me give you some of those reasons to do so, because it's always important to, get your mingle and your jingle on. So there you go. National Aunt and Uncle Day. National Bagel Fest Day, National Coffee Milkshake Day. I'm so sorry for that. National Disability Independence Day, and National All or Nothing Day. So there you go. Some things to celebrate if you're wanting to do so. Anyways, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. For more information, you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. Or, of course, you can always go to the website, afsp.org. Just remember how important this is, just in case. You never know when you're going to need the information, or if someone is struggling where you can assist, or if you might be struggling yourself. So some things to think about for sure. Let's continue talking a little bit more before we get you fully out of here. I'll be going over to Radio Big exclusively at the top of the hour if you want to come out and hang out. So that's for sure. Do you want? Let's give you some whack facts real quick, because these are always important. Do we want to do whack facts? Let's do scoops. Yeah, let's do whack facts. With 2 forks in a charge, a pickle will emit light. The most money that can be lost in one trip around a Monopoly board is $26,040. The world's smallest painting was painted onto a grain of corn. There are over 900 stone ring monuments in British Isles. Stone Age is is the most famous. The largest bubblegum bubble blown without the use of hands was 50.8 centimeters, or in diameters about 20 inches. The average person spends 3 years of his or her life on the toilet. Boy, is that something to think about for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking. Let me tell you about this. Let me give you a random joke for today, if you're looking for one. I love nature in spite of what it did to me. That's terrible. If you could make a law that everyone would follow, what would it be? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question. Only 9% of people say that their partner never does this. What is it? What? Only 9% of couples say that their partner never does this. What is it? Steal the blankets. Now, I don't know if I believe that. That seems like a kind of still of a high number. The rate of stealing stuff seems to be pretty high. Just saying, in general. Anyway, so a lot of stuff going on. We are coming to an end. Thank you for coming out, hanging out this morning on the Rated R Safety Show, exclusively on RadioBig.fm and on SafetyFM.com. Now, listen, if you want to come and hang out and listen to some music and do some all other kinds of stuff, I'm going to go over to RadioBig.fm, so you're more than welcome on coming over there and hanging out with me to do so. If not, you can hang out here on SafetyFM.com, and we'll be hanging out and doing some other things related to the world of safety. The other side is if you're on the actual streamer service, if you hang out with us on Twitch, you'll see the next show that comes up, because we have different shows on Twitch than what we do on our radio stations. So just throwing that out there. Anyways, I got all that going on. If I can leave you with a thought for today, let's do this. Arguing with fools proves that there are two. Think about that. Arguing with fools proves that there are two. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.